Hello, Kim Townsel here. Thanks for watching my video about my Mr. Coffee. Remember, it's free to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the video if appropriate. My basic Mr. Coffee died, so I had to kind of do a home remedy for making coffee for a couple of days. I go back to Walmart and buy one exactly like the one that died because it really does everything I need it to do. I'll show you the features of the basic Mr. Coffee and why I chose this one over some of the more fancy versions. I purchased the basic Mr. Coffee for $16.88 at Walmart on December 21st, 2017. It doesn't have a lot of features. It does have the where you can grab a cup, you can pull it out, and it stops that right there, so it stops the flow of the coffee in there. Has an off and on button, just pretty basic. It tells you that. It says, "We know taste matters. For us, bringing a rich coffee experience into your home has always been an obsession. This model is designed for the straight up, no bones about it coffee drinker. Simple with a lot of bells and whistles, but it sure brews a great cup of coffee." That's all I need. That's all I need. So it says it only has 4 perks. It has a Lipton Clean filter basket, which is exactly like the one I had. It has a dual water window, which shows you how much water is in there. It has, as I said before, where you can grab, open this, take the coffee part out, the glass part out, and it stops. The water stops flowing in there. It holds it in there until you put this back in there. And then it has a power off and on indicator, and it will brew 12 cups of coffee. Of course, their idea of a cup is like really, really small, and I actually do like a 6 cup every morning, so I'm getting like 32 ounces of water. That's it. It's exactly like my old one. Exactly. And I don't know how long I've had the old one, but it just quit. The power won't come off and on anymore, but I use a lot. Let's open this one up. I looked at the other ones that were available, and they had some that you could preset for, like set it the night before, have your coffee made when you get up. And I've had these before, and they're nice, but I'm not into all that. Instructions, who reads that? I'm not into all that. I just need something that's going to bring me a really nice cup of coffee reliably. So I looked at the ones that they had. They had a cheaper one made by Windmere or something like that, but it just looked a little too cheesy. It was a little too cheesy. Noise. So this is what it looks like. Let me get this down. I'm going to run all the pieces that come off in the dishwasher tonight and wash this part out with just a little bit of soap and run some water through it so that I don't get any kind of residue tomorrow. That's a little thing to keep it, but this is just what it looks like on the inside. It just comes out as clean as it can be. And the only part that doesn't work on my old one is the electricity part. So I'm going to keep the basket from my old one and the coffee pot from my old one in the event that they run out, or if I want to make a second cup of coffee, these parts will be clean for me and I won't have to wash them out, because I do that a lot, especially in the winter time. So let's wash this thing out. Okay, that's all the parts that are gonna go in my coffee. Mix it out a little bit. And now I'm going to run a whole pot of clean water through it just to make sure I get all the residue out and all the soap out, and then it'll be ready to go in the morning. Yay. The plug is tucked up nice and neatly in the back, so I'm going to have to yank it out so I can plug it in. Well, I am yanking it, aren't I? Check it, make sure it works, and it does. There may not be hardly enough cord. I'm going to have to work on that, see if there's any more cord in there. I didn't find a lot of cord in there, but I'm just going to run some clean water through here. On that, one thing you have to watch out and make sure you don't pour the water because it's got 2 holes in the back, and I have, like, in the morning been very sleepy, and there's been water that's kind of splashed out. If you only fill it up with this coffee pot, the glass one, you're not going to overfill it because they're above that line. So you can see that it doesn't leak through because there's no coffee pot in there to mash up on that. But when I put that in there, it should, yeah, water starts coming through there. And that's how it works. Heats the water from there, pulls it up this pipe, I guess, comes out through this sprayer, and it goes in there. One thing I don't like about this brand of Mr. Coffee is it only puts the coffee, it only sprays the water on the coffee for right here. So I try to pile up my coffee on this side so that it gets evenly wet, but sometimes I kind of like stir it up a little bit so that coffee gets a little bit stronger. Now this one just brews as is. There were some other models that can make your coffee a little bit stronger, and I guess that means that the water stays in there a little bit longer. That's how that works. But you can tell which one's new. That's the old Mr. Coffee. That's the old Mr. Coffee logo. I guess this is the new hip Mr. Coffee logo. And you can tell mine's old because it's yellowed. So I'm happy to have a new one. Look forward to having a cup of coffee in it in the morning. The features on the new coffee pot part seem to be very similar to the old one. You can see this is the new coffee pot. You can tell it's the new one because the old one has like rust underneath the metal part on it. But it looks like they made it from practically the same molding. The filter container, this one is spotted with hard water stains. Operates the same. That's what allows the water to come through when it's pushed down, and then when the coffee pot is removed, it stops it. And then of course the new lid. My old one, I've sprayed bleach on that to try to get that discoloration off, but it just doesn't come out. So the new one definitely looks better. Let's make some coffee. I don't want my coffee walking to me, but I don't want it weak either. I'm putting water into the fill line on the 6th level for the Mr. Coffee glass container, and I put 5 coffee scoops of coffee here, and I try to kind of pile up my coffee so that this is going to spray on that part right there first to make it a little bit more even. One thing they could do is to make this arm come out a little bit longer. If it sprayed more towards the center, I think it would help with getting all the grounds wet at the same time, but they didn't, and they didn't ask me about it either. So here goes our first cup of coffee. If you cut the coffee pot on before you pour the water in there like I just did, you want to make sure you swing that arm back instead of on the coffee, because if it gets a big burst of steam, sometimes it sprays out onto the coffee and it makes a big huge mess. So either cut the coffee pot off before you put the water in, or make sure the arm is going that way. And make sure you don't pour the water over this part, because that sometimes causes it to be inoperative until it dries out. Here we go. Yay for the person who discovered coffee. Glorious sound and a glorious smell. Can you see what I mean? If this arm was a little bit longer and it sprayed the water in the middle, I think it would be more evenly coating the coffee grounds at this point. But it soaks it up and it comes around from the edge there, so I guess it's all good. Maybe my old one
just didn't do a very good job of that. Coffee. And kudos to the person who discovered coffee makers as well. And that's how it goes. This is what I mean about the water not getting all the way over to the coffee grounds. Sometimes I'll just take a spoon and kind of scooch them back over there because I do want all that coffee goodness. It's just a design flaw, which I'm not telling, you know, Mr. Coffee like how to make their coffee, but it seems kind of obvious to me. Coffee's looking great, smelling great. I have my first cup. I have my first pot of coffee and my new Mr. Coffee. So I'm going to put it into my Christmas mug because it is December the 22nd. That looks glorious. I have preheated my Yeti cup and I'll pour the rest of my coffee into that. Because in the past, if I leave the leftover coffee in the coffee thing, then it just gets, it gets a really bitter taste. So I preheat my Yeti cup, put the lid on there, put some aluminum foil on it, and then it's good for me whenever I want to come back and drink it. It's hot. It still has exactly the same flavor as that first brewed cup of coffee. Yum. Happy with my new Mr. Coffee. Thumbs up. Past couple of days, I'm getting this little residue of coffee that's coming into the bottom of the pot. I did not take the decanter out, but I'm wondering if this little piece that's popping up in here is puncturing the filter. Well, today this happened on the Mr. Coffee. I was cooking Christmas foods for Christmas, and turned around and noticed that the coffee wasn't coming through the pot. So I had to readjust it and move the arm back so that the water would not come in here anymore until it could come out. So I don't know what the deal was. It wasn't seated properly. It's coming through now. It's leaking it's leaking a few coffee grounds, if you can see in there. I guess that's what you get when you get a basic. Again today, it has all of these grounds in the bottom of the pot. That is really not acceptable. I may be taking this one back. It has to be something from the mechanism here.
However, now the coffee brewing system seems to be working perfectly. I have used 3 different types of Black Rifle coffee in the coffee brewing system and 2 different types of Starbucks coffee, and have had no mishaps in the last several times that I've used the coffee pot. It's cold in winter right now, and I'm usually making about 2 pots of coffee a day. I'm wondering if the coffee brewing system just needed a little break-in period, because I was not happy with it the first couple of 3 or 4 days because of the leakage of the grounds in the coffee pot. But it has not repeated that puncturing of the filter at any time, and neither has it had the overflow where the coffee fell to flow down into the coffee pot. I'm wondering if perhaps I just didn't have it seated correctly, or if just the springs or whatever in the little device at the bottom of the filter between the filter and the coffee pot were just off a little bit and maybe needed to be used to get them oriented quickly enough. I'm still not really happy about how the water comes into the coffee grounds. You can see here that it favors one side of the coffee grounds. What I have found out that with the finer grounds, it does a better job of evenly distributing the water throughout the grounds than it does with the coarser grinds. So that may be a factor. I still think that Mr. Coffee could make the brewing, the arm where the water comes out, just a little bit longer, and perhaps the water would come into the middle of the coffee instead of over to one side. But hey, I'm not an engineer, and they didn't call and ask me, but it's my video, so I get to say my opinion. All in all, I'm very happy with this brewing system, and I'm going to keep it. Thank you for watching my video about my basic Mr. Coffee. Remember, it's free to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. And I love my coffee. I've got other videos up about various coffees that I've tried. I would love for you to watch those and leave me a thumbs up button on those as well. Remember, coffee has caffeine, which is the last legal drug in America. Enjoy it while we can. Take care. Bye.